Alright, so you should be able to find this sheet down at the below the video. Remember, you can click on the little magnifying glass, quick view or preview on the side of the link, and it'll open it up right there. If you want to follow along, now we're talking about how we can change the period of these functions, which makes it like makes longer period or shorter period, like a what are those things, accordions, in and out. So changing the period of the function. So the same idea with midline, basic sine graph. Midline is 0, amplitude is 1. So you guys know this one, 0, up 1, down 1. It's a sine graph with 2 pi would be the period, because there's nothing with that x. And you're going to see that with these parentheses and multiplying the x times something, that's what's going to change the period. So pi is halfway there, pi over 2 is half of that. So 1 over 2, 2 over 2, 3 pi over 2. And of course sine to the maximum, back to the midline, minimum, and there's our basic sine. Now, how you figure out what the period is, it's always going to be, and remember we have, last time it was y equals a sine parenthesis b parenthesis x minus c plus d. This b helps you find the period. It's not the period, but it just helps you find it. And if there's no plus or minus inside those parentheses, then there's no need for this extra set of parentheses. So if it's just 2x, then that's your b. Alright? And the period, where can I write it? So the period of the function is always 2 pi divided by that b. So that number. So of course your midline is 0, your amplitude is 1, but now your period is going to be 2 pi divided by 2, or this has a period of pi, if those cancel out. So you'd be 0, 1, negative 1, but now at the end is pi. Half of pi is pi over 2. Half of pi over 2, anything you want, or anytime you want to take half of a fraction, you can just double the denominator. So pi over 2, half of that is pi over 4. And so now you're counting by fourths. 1 over 4, 2 over 4, 3 pi over 4. And of course that would be 4 over 4, which is 1. So instead the sign looks the same if you just did a quick look at the two graphs, but this one is half as much as this one. If you graph this one with this one at the same time, it would end up going through one full period by the time it got to pi, and then it would do another full period by the time it got to 2 pi. So this is much shorter of a wave, or it's half as long as the original one. So by multiplying it by 2, you're actually shortening the wave. Alright, I'll let you guys do 3 and 4 on your own. Don't do them now. But let's move on to something like 5. Go over to, or go down to 5. If you print it off, go over to number 5. So here, haven't done anything with the midline, still at 0, amplitude is 1. 0, 1, negative 1. But now your period is 2 pi divided by a half. So when you have fractions with your x when fractions are changing with your period. It might be easier, and you can write it this way right from the beginning, but it'll be 2 pi, put that over 1, times the reciprocal of your fraction. So 1/2 would be times 2 over 1. Well, 2 pi over 1 times 2 over 1 is just 4 pi over 1, or just 4 pi. So if I have a fraction or a number less than 1 inside the parentheses, it's actually lengthening that wave. So it takes a whole 4 pi to complete one wave. So to do that, at the end you'd say 4 pi. Half of 4 pi is 2 pi, so there's our normal period. Half of 2 pi is just pi. That'd be 1 pi, 2 pi, and of course 3 pi would go there. And it's the sign again, so starts, top, ends, bottom, middle. So there is. So you can imagine that first one we did would have completed a whole period by the time we got to here. The second one we did would have completed by here. So we would have 4 of those sine of 2x that would fit into one of these. So try number 6 on your own. Let's look at 7. So midline is still at 0, but this time I did change the amplitude 3. So 0, up 3, down 3. And your period would be 2 pi. Since it's not a fraction, you're just going to put it over 4 and then reduce it if you can. 2 pi over 4 is pi over 2. So your period would go out to pi over 2. Like I said, half of that, you just double the denominator. Half of pi over 2 is pi over 4. Half of pi over 4 is pi over 8. 1 over 8, 2 over 8, 3 over 8. And of course 4 over 8 would reduce to pi over 2. That's a sine again. Middle goes to the top, middle, bottom, middle. And that is a very short wave because it only takes to pi over 2 to complete. Alright, I'll let you try number 8. Number 9 we've done pi over 2. Number 10. So of course your midline's at -4, amplitude is 2, so -4, up 2 would be -2, -6 for the minimum. But the period here, since you have 2/3, is going to be, since it's a fraction, 2 pi over 1 times the reciprocal, 3 over 2. So that would be 6 pi over 2, which reduces, or the 2's will reduce out first if you want to do that, 3 pi over 1, or just 3 pi. So 3 pi. Since you can't do half of 3, just do 3 pi over 2. Half of 3 pi over 2 is 3 pi over 4. But now we're counting by 3/4. So 3, 6, 9 over 4, and 12 over 4. And of course 12 over 4 would be 3. 3 over 4 is 3/4. 6 over 4 would reduce to 3 over 2. 9 over 4 doesn't reduce. 12 over 4. It's a negative sign. It starts in the middle, down, up, back to the middle. And there you have it. So I'll let you try number 11. And then the last one I want to show you is 12. And then I'm going to let you try all the others. And then look back on Tuesday. or Wednesday for, probably Wednesday, I'll put the answers to these up so you can check them, but try to submit it before Wednesday for your credit. But number 12, if there is a pi in there, so -2 is our midline, 7 is our amplitude, -2, up 7 is 5, down 7 is -9. But it would be 2 pi over pi. So your period is always 2 pi over whatever number is with the x. That would just cancel out the pi's, leaving 2 for the period. So it's not uncommon for those to cancel out, so that 2 would be, don't put any pi with it. Half of 2 is 1. Half of 1 is a half. 1 over 2, 2 over 2, 3 over 2. So just leave out the pi's. And then your positive sign. Middle, maximum, middle, minimum, middle. There you go. Alright, so please throw questions my way if you have any. Use your mind, use your Canvas question stuff. Email, anything that you need, let me know. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.